Having thoroughly and carefully reviewed their submissions, we have today advised the club, Mr. Flanagan and Mr. Elkin, of my final determinations. They are to confirm that the club breached the NRL Code of Conduct in several respects in relation to its supplements programme during 2010-2011, and that Mr. Flanagan and Mr. Elkin were responsible for a number of the failings that led to those breaches. The club is fined $1 million, of which $400,000 is suspended, subject to the satisfaction of governance changes and compliance with the NRL rules. Mr. Flanagan's registration is suspended for 12 months or until he satisfies the conditions imposed by the NRL. However, he may return in 9 months if those conditions are satisfied by then. Mr. Elkin's registration is cancelled. Consistent with my earlier decision, if Mr. Elkin were to make an application within the next 2 years, it would of course be assessed on its merits, but would be unlikely to be looked at favourably. I think the intention here is not to stop Shane, for example, going to watch his son play football. And our rules don't allow us to prevent, in this case, Shane attending Sharp Park. What's clear is we want no direct or indirect involvement with the club through his suspension.
Well, basically, there, as it says in there, you've got 5 days to make the appeal. Obviously, we've got our chairman of the appeals committee, Ian Callanan, and obviously he would receive any information in regards to appeals process. Like we've said from the start, there's no timeline attached to this. It's to make sure that we do a fair and proper process.
The rules are really clear, and I think what we've done throughout this process is, from the way that we've conducted the investigation, the way that we've gathered the information, and indeed the way that we've shifted the timeline to make sure that people are fairly and properly heard, is all completely in line with our code of conduct and with our rules. So we followed our rules to the letter. What's important is we got the information that post the preliminary findings, we got the information through finally the final piece on Friday this week. There was nothing in there to suggest that I would change the preliminary findings, and that's why I've reached the final determination. We will not ever put our players at risk. Player welfare is right at the top of our tree, right at the top of our agenda. So I think what this does is it allows us all to move forward. And my message to the Sharks and the Sharks fans is that they've got a good board, they're doing the right things, there's good leadership in place, and they should get right behind their team. It's a strong club. We want them to be one of the stronger Sydney teams. So get right behind them. Hopefully this allows us to look forward and not backwards.